Are you ready?
Let me show you, before the audience sees what my new name is about to be.
All right.
With the domain and everything. That's gonna be my thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, because I was thinking you can make it easier. Wait, do you want to, Mr. Credit Gems? Is it only about credit?
I mean, everything I do is gonna be supercharged by credit. So yes,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying. If I go into watch trading, I'm gonna be using credit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying. And then we talked about even when you don't have credit, you have credit. So it's you know what I'm saying. So it's the social credit, the credibility, and all that. So I'm like, in reality though, like the concept of credit is actually how everything works.
Right.
It's just like we consider it the card, like the Visa.
Yeah, the plastic. But
we this is credit. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
If you take it way back in the day,
debt,
everybody was borrowing things from other people.
I was about to mention it.
The whole cup of sugar from your neighbor thing, you know?
The credit system was around back when they were, and people claim, well, you know, we were trading seashells and all that. Nah, they weren't even trading like items that were like, you know, like dollars. It was literally like, oh, homie around the corner gave me, you know, 2 sheep in his harvest season when things was going good, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go give him, you know, these bundles of hay when he needs it, and it's just this invisible credit system.
Right.
They just didn't have banks.
Exactly.
But they knew. They were like, oh yeah, he got me in the winter. I got him right now in the summer.
Exactly. And how they said like they started just tracking people's credit worthiness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think it started from like a grocery store or something like that. Way back in the day. Some information that I can't remember perfectly to repeat, but it's like they just had like a Rolodex around town, like this person successfully paid me back, this person successfully, this one, hey y'all, watch out for him. So it's like public record, like this person don't pay nobody back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And then they came up with a recipe that for the score, right? Because it came out with a number. Exactly. Like, how do we quickly just kind of say, you know, how credible you are? And they came up with a score.
Exactly. So, I like to, you know, just dive straight into this. You know, I go by Ty, the Deleteking, Deleteking 850 on Instagram, and
should I say it?
Hey man,
my name's Renee Vasquez, but I'm gonna start going by Mr. Credit Gems on Instagram. So, Mr. Credit Gems, yeah, shoot, that's the first time anybody's hearing it. Really.
World premiere, you know what I'm saying, and. It's a good time for it anyways to evolve and become that next level Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Like,
facts. Right
now, there's a lot of momentum going on, and that's sort of what I wanted to kind of highlight before. You know what I'm saying? Even we about to move to another spot down in Miami. You know what I'm saying? So I just figured like things are happening kind of fast, right? You know what I'm saying?
We on 4 hours of sleep, yo, or less. So.
The last podcast was only 7 hours ago. So you know what I'm saying? I wanted to get some more work done, wake up as early as I can. But I wanted to talk about like, you know, like last time, like a lot of people sometimes they go into things and they expect like the worst case scenario. I just got a text from just saw you sitting out. Yeah, that was Sierra. We're gonna meet with her a little bit later today. But like the last time I came down to Miami, things didn't go out so smooth, right? Things didn't like happen so smoothly. So I want to kind of go over like worst case scenarios. Like a lot of people say, if you expect the worst, then you'll never be disappointed, right? Or prepare for the worst. You know the phrase like hope for the best, prepare for the worst. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but like maybe one day you'll get to a point in your life where it's like things sort of work out way better than you even expected them to. And I feel like, that's what we were talking last night, like I was feeling like, yo, this is like, some of this stuff is sort of surreal. Like running into Tosin last night just through Instagram, you know? And I got like 4 more people that I'm trying to connect with during this trip that have a similar story to him, and just these successful people down here in Miami. The Miami market for like networking is just so strong, but it's just like when it comes to like expecting the worst case scenario, sometimes you gotta just sometimes things just happen to work out way better than you expect them to work out. And I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So what happens when things just work out way better than you expect them to? You gotta live in that moment and embrace it. You actually gotta like live up to it. You know what I'm saying? So right now, like followers are going up. You know, I'm really connecting with real successful people. You know what I'm saying? And now I got this all this content, like this podcast, for example, and I was like, oh, I got to put this out. This ain't like the other content that I'd shot, and it's taking me forever to put out. It's like, nah, I really gotta like step up to the plate and become Deleteking 850. Like, y'all watching this live, you know what I'm saying? And it's like that transitioning phase to like being regular to becoming like the person you've always imagined you would be eventually, like in real life. You know what I'm saying? It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. So I just wanted to share that moment with y'all. Like, yo, it's a good feeling when you do exactly what you say you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? All these long-term goals you got at the back of your head and in the back of your mind, it's like, man, when you actually do it and you actually get stuff done, yo, that's a great feeling, and it's priceless. Because what I tell people all the time, the best feeling in the world, the absolute best feeling in the world over getting paid and over getting laid is the feeling of progress, the feeling of your life heading in the right direction. That's just my personal opinion, because that's what I notice every single time is when I notice like I'm making progress
right?
in whatever it is. It could be whatever, but I'm making progress. And with progress comes like a little pushback. It's like comes some friction. Like you gonna have these little setbacks sometimes, right? And it's just like last time I came to Miami, things didn't work out so smooth. The first day I landed, you know what I'm saying? It was a lot of things trying to throw me off. A lot of things trying to throw me off. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with like people, and like dealing with people is not always easy. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're unpredictable. But long story short, it's like I had to like make sure, like, because that was an expensive weekend then too, and that was only a couple weeks ago, but I had to make it work. I had to push through. I had to ignore even the way I felt about certain situations. I had to push through. And then that weekend ended up like what I was able to accomplish that weekend. It was like I felt like I had to do certain things on my own, but I was able to network and really bring value to other people's situations that I got what I needed to get done. And the way I got it done was better than what I actually planned. You know what I'm saying? Like things just kind of like fell into place. You know what I mean? And I think that's pretty dope. Like sometimes if you just push forward regardless of the bullshit, like it's dope. Things just sort of work themselves out. But yeah, I wanted to talk about what I'm doing in Miami this weekend, right? And what kind of happened so far. What's it called? Let me see. You can switch over to my screen or whatever. But like, I can play. But long story short, I flew down here with my mentors. They have an event called like Get Access Tour, where, you know, you can get access to high level information, right? Ultimately, it has to do with real estate. It's a bunch of people that's making millions in real estate, that have years and years and years of experience, right? In real estate. So we're actually shopping for some Airbnbs. We're actually, you know, Miami is the new hot spot for Airbnbs. So we was out there looking for some Airbnbs, and just checking out some locations that we're actually looking to purchase. And I'm not the type that likes to announce my moves. So hopefully, I'm hoping by the time I actually put this podcast out and make it public, that I would have checked off these items off the list, because I really don't announce my moves like at all. I more so show results and highlights on my story. But long story short, you can switch it back. Long story short, and then you can yeah. So long story short, what we're doing in Miami is pretty much we're looking for some we're looking for some condos, grab some Airbnbs. We're opening up bank accounts. You know what I'm saying? Literally down this street, there's just like bank after bank after bank after bank after bank. You know what I'm saying? He was able to open it up. What'd you open up?
Got a SunTrust, which is now going to be Truist, right? And then we looked into the Truist credit card products and the lines of credit and stuff. You know, getting right with the relationship manager at that branch so you can see what's good with the credit products, because obviously that's the next step. But putting your foot in the door, right? There's so many. There's hundreds. Literally, you can't get to them all, credit unions, especially local ones. So in this specific area, we're hitting them up right now.
What are the data points you got from BB&T, which is now SunTrust?
BB&T and SunTrust are now Truist, actually. So both those will be using Truist products. Truist has, she gave me the sauce on the business credit card, so that's going to be up to $25K limit, right? They don't really go above it, but up to $25K, no doc, stated income only, based on your revenue and your net profit, and your relationship with the bank. And that's going to pull from Equifax, and it's also going to pull from SBFE, but it's going to primarily care about the Equifax because it's a PG. So it's just really going to, you could have no SBFE score, which is Small Business Financial Exchange score, for anybody who doesn't, know too much about the business credit side. So, but that could be non-existent, because if your Equifax is cool and you PG it, which it's a mandatory PG, so you'll be good. So I was like, okay, cool. And she was like, let me know when you're ready, because, we can run that through. And so another pro tip, making sure that the bankers actually apply for the cards for you is a way smoother process, and you're going to have way more success, because if it's coming from their system, they have more leeway and they have more trustworthiness with the underwriting system, because if it's coming from your house, it could be anybody, right? But if it's coming from inside the branch, from the actual person that's vouching for the application, it's going to have a way better chance of success. So that's why you got to go inside and start building relationships. So now I know Wendy, and I'm going to be like, when I'm ready for a card, I'm going to hit up Wendy. And then that same day I might go to my guy Gus, and then at Chase, and then I'm going to go, you know what I'm saying? So I can hit the spree with that credibility from those people. So, but yeah, that's the sauce on the Truist business credit card, up to $25K, no doc, and pulls from Equifax.
Exactly. They don't call him Mr. Credit Gems for no reason.
Yes,
you know what I'm
sir.
saying? So pretty much down here, part of, aside from going Airbnb shopping, is just like opening up a few bank accounts that are literally just handing out money, handing out the bags, no docs. You know what I'm saying? Building those relationships out here for the LLCs that we got out here, and just building them up. You know what I mean? So moving forward with that, like I said, networking. On top of all of that, with the exotic car rental houses. And like I said, last night we ran into Tosin. And man, I learned so much from that one conversation. And that made me, like, while we were having that conversation, like I was like taking notes and like listening really hard. I was like really paying attention, right? And it made me realize there were certain things I was hesitant on spending money on, but I was like, damn, I wish I had kind of made that deposit. Damn, I wish I kind of just, you know what I'm saying? Because lately I've been just swiping, swipe.
As an investment, though.
Yes.
Right. Not,
in my business, everything is
in
like
yourself. And
the only expense I have that's not a business expense is just like food. But I can make that a business expense.
True. I
just gotta talk to my accountant and figure all that out. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, I gotta double down. No. I gotta triple down. That was the topic.
It's the double down, because you've been doing that. So then, in a sense, like tripling down. Now your brain's like, you for real?
Like, exactly.
Oh, you really?
Exactly. It's like you can't have scared money to really get to the next level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, things were starting to click. Like, man, this stuff is getting more and more expensive. You know what I'm saying? and expense is relative, but it's just
Right.
like, nah, it's like, if I'm investing all of this, because I know, you know what I'm saying? I know what the back end looks like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you can say about, you know what I'm saying, your recent investments or what you've been like.
It's infinite ROI because, I mean, again, who's that, in your head that's saying, are you sure about this? Right? Because that don't necessarily come from you if you know you're for greatness. Like, if you know where you want to be, then that don't come from you. That come from something that you saw or heard from somebody that's like, oh, that might not work, or
Exactly.
what did you think everything through? Like, that's other people that is saying something. Because for me, you can call it naive or stubborn or whatever, but if I did my research and I feel confident and I want to pull the trigger on something because I know I'm gonna get a return and some, I'm like, why am I tripping? Why am I not doing it quicker?
Yeah. It's like, at the end of the day, like, everything that I'm doing now is because, like, I don't want to look back 10 years
And
from
be like,
now
I choked up, or
and then say, damn, I ain't do nothing cool back then. Nothing. I ain't tried nothing. I ain't had no multi-million-dollar business that went belly up and then I bounced back. Like, what am I gonna be able to say 10
that's
years from
so
now?
fucking accurate. Because
That
it's
keeps
like,
me up at night because I still feel like I'm 10 years behind. I had these like dreams since
you heard Tolson. He was 27 or 29, barely getting to it, right? Learning from a 19-year-old about, wholesaling from public databases and blah, blah, blah. So imagine like us being younger to have the opportunity to fucking take some swings at some like,
Exactly.
you're going to look back at that and be like, oh yeah, I could have. And then
This whole time I could have. You know what I'm saying? That's why the question I ask to a lot of people is like, yo, if you can do exactly what you want to do, like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want to do, and what do you? And then I ask, what are you waiting for? And if it's an issue with capital, like, bro, let's get you funded. It's like, let's
But
fix
then
your
once
credit.
a lot of people they use the capital as an excuse because that's everybody's excuse. Oh, once I save up 50, they say save, right? Because they don't know
Right.
about credit. Once I save up 50, I'm gonna go start a little restaurant, or I'm gonna go start a nail salon. I'm gonna go start this, and I go, I can get you 50,
That's exactly what like.
and then they go, I'm
Yo,
like, oh,
what you just said, like, I went out to dinner with my brothers.
uh huh.
You know what I'm saying? And like, literally,
I be wanting
I'm
to
the youngest.
slap 50 on the table.
I'm the youngest. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm the youngest, and it was just like they were talking about these ideas that they had, and they always wanted to invest in, And I literally said those words, like, the capital's easy, like 100K is easy. And I probably said it in a way where it's just like,
Sounds a little obnoxious.
yeah, it sounded like, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? And that same day, I just got another 20 from BOA. But I wasn't saying it to brag or anything, because it's just like these numbers, they sort of just whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're just like kind of just, once you realize it's like a game, like anybody can get good at it, just the same way you can get good at, let's say, cooking pancakes, for example. Like, you learn that skill or something, or you play like a video game, or, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's literally as simple as, like, or you learn how to play chess. You know what I'm saying? You move pieces on the board, or it's like Monopoly in real life. It's really like a game, like a numbers game. And then, the foundation, the root of everything is just like, what's your credit score? Like, what's your credit report looking like? And what have you done in the past that shows you're trustworthy of just holding on to X amount of money for limited amount of time and then using it responsibly. It's pretty much the name of the game, But, like, moving forward is like tripling down. You know what I mean? Like,
if you next to somebody like Tolson, who shows you what happens when you triple down,
man,
it's a lot easier, right? But when you're talking to yourself and you're like, can I really do this? Like, you're really saying to yourself, right? It becomes a lot easier when you got someone that says, yo,
I did it. You know what I'm saying? Because I like, there's they say scary money don't make no money. And recently it's like you got to do certain things to take certain actions. Have you ever heard the phrase "do it scared"?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I heard that phrase is going around a lot more often. It's like,
I like that.
Sometimes you got to do it scared.
Because I've done a lot of shit where I'm like, fuck.
Everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling all of those emotions in real time.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I keep swiping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't swipe for nothing I can't pay for the same day, but at the same time, like, I have my little nest egg. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is for X amount of months that I need to feel secure or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, but when it comes to investments, people borrow X amount of money, knowing that they might not have X amount of money in their account, but they gonna use that capital and do what they gotta do and flip that. You know what I'm saying? But what are they feeling inside when they're making those investments? It's still a lot of money. So it's just like, you sort of got it. It's like, now it's crunch time. Like, all the capital that I've acquired, I can't spend it fast enough. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I'm being super careful. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of trial and error going on. It's a lot of hiring and firing going on right now. I'm being extremely selective about who I'm working with, who I'm learning from, investing in. A few thousand here, a few thousand there, and then it's patience. And then I got to be patient with certain things, and I got to learn the hard way without losing the capital, because the name of the game, do not lose the bank's money. Whatever you do, don't lose it. Be able to put it back. You know what I'm saying? Before you got to go get another line of credit to pay that line of credit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a cycle, you know what I'm saying, that people get caught in. That cycle of, I think they call it robbing Peter to pay Paul, or whatever it's called. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can play that game, but a lot of people play that game anyways with, like, consumer credit. And I'm like, y'all been doing it all wrong. Only thing I spend money on is things that will make me more money. Literally. Like, literally everything. Like, if I'm even down to putting gas in my car with my gas cards that are building me business credit, like, every action I take, every move that I make, decision I make, is because I'm assuming it's going to, like, make me more money, in the sense that it's going to provide a better lifestyle and opportunity for me to live the lifestyle that I desire, and just get ahead in life and help my family, in the way that they need to be helped, and make sure they're financially free, right? But kind of wanted to segue into some of your own experience and what you've been up to before we wrap this up and get on with the rest of our day, because we're both in the same industry, right? You've been able to help people, like, clean up the reports and sort of, like, get to the next level. So, like, what sort of thing in this industry, like, what are your strong points on how you help people, and, like, what are you up to now, and what's your main focus?
Okay, so in the credit space in general right now,
yeah,
my focus, it sucks because I have a big heart, so the credit repair stuff has grown on me, because I see so many people that just need help. Because I was gonna say, my focus, I like funding. I like having people that come to me. Blank slate is cool, like, no credit, right? Or very little credit. But I like the people that have somewhat credit that just don't know how to maximize it. And I come in and I supercharge everything, and then we go get funding, like, a lot, right? And especially when they have a business that's already applicable, like, they're like, yo, I'm already doing this, I just need more money. And I'm like, perfect. And then I just plug it in. But what I'm trying to get into right now is the credit repair stuff, and then the consumer law, and knowing how to go about actual, consumer report repair. But, like, that just comes from me just knowing that that's, like, a life-changing skill, right? That can do a lot for somebody. Mm-hmm. And I really want to just put that on my utility belt. Mm-hmm. but it does slow me down because now I have a new learning curve to go hit. You know what I'm saying? If I want to do it myself, because I could go refer, but I want to actually know what's going on before I just go, hey, go put your money over here, because I know it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. But right now, what it came in as was me structuring my own report so then I could teach it, right? Getting my own funding so then I can teach it. And now I'm like, shoot, I've never had a repair situation. So finding people that do have, needs that they like, collections, bankruptcies, late payments, whatever, and then going and using them as an example so that I can say, hey, okay, now I can go say that I had experience with this. But yeah, that's the newest like frontier. That's honestly not what I jumped in the game for, but it's just interesting and obviously very impactful, because I'm sure most people, when they come up to you about credit, it's it's not like, hey bro, I already have an 800, what should I do with it? It's usually like, hey bro, it's either non-existent or it's bad. So yeah, to be able to have that skill is my next goal. But yeah.
Yeah, similar to me is like I managed to like get some negative items off of my report, and that once I got those 2 late payments off my report, then I shot up in the 800 club. And it took me a while to do that. While I was studying the game, I was still fixing other people's stuff. You know what I mean? I got some results. I think maybe I got some inquiries off, and then I got some other stuff. But I was working on a lot of other people's stuff and still working on my stuff that was keeping me out the hundreds. But long story short is just like I remember I finally became one of those people that can legitimately, honestly say like I got the stuff off of my reports myself. So now it's like I know I could fix people's stuff based off my own experience. So it's not like 1,000% like outsourced. It's like, nah. These methods that I'm using, that's because I literally cleaned up my report myself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that gives you a different level of confidence. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to the business funding, we on the same page on that as well. Because the kind of business funding I would do for my client is way more expedited than how I've been doing it, with the literally walking in the banks, shaking hands, kissing babies, politicking, you know what I'm saying, doing whatever I got to do to build those banking relationships, you know what I'm saying? Like the kind of funding that I would do for my clientele is like, they ain't got to do all that. I already built the relationships. We're pushing them through. We're pushing the applications through. I already got the data points, and the relationship's built through me, and that's where my value comes in, And I tell people, like on my website, I'm like you could go apply yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can Google all these cards, I guess, but are you gonna get high limits like I do? I don't know. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what numbers to put to get the high limits? And you know what I'm saying? Like, do you have the strong relationships in the eternal back end, behind the scenes at the banks?
And that's what they get to leverage when they go through you, is exactly. you plugged in.
Exactly. Because I was talking, like when I have these discussions with, people that's well off, and maybe, they're just cash rich and they're not credit rich. And then, right. They hear the spiel, they hear the pitch, and then they're just like, so I could just go apply, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, you definitely could. You technically could just go do this yourself, but the results are different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm just telling you my personal experience and what I was able to, do for myself. So why wouldn't I be able to do that for you, so that me and you can do some business together?
I tell people, if you're gonna go do it yourself, then don't say I was a part of it, because I know it's not going to come out the best possible way. Like, I'm like, don't say I helped you.
So ultimately, you know what I'm saying? Like, anybody can go out there and get their funding. Do it. But like some people just be so thirsty to just do it. And I'm just like, wait. Let's check how many inquiries you have, because I already know you're about to get denied for X card or whatever. Cool, you're in the 800s, but still, you have a thin profile. Like, That's why I always send people the link. Like, look, let's go over the report real quick. Let's check before we just like going out there doing stuff.
See that 720.
We got to maximize the results. You know what I'm saying? You want to clean the report, and then you want to strategically design your funding sequence. You know what I mean? So there's different ways to go about that. And I wanted to tap into your experience, since we're like with the cars, like you just got all this experience. Like you at one point you rented out a vehicle before. Talk about that experience. And like I said, a lot of people, like, things just work themselves out instead of having the worst case scenario. Like, it went pretty smooth.
Oh, it went amazing. And it was almost like I should have doubled, tripled down, but I didn't know, where to go for that information. And also I definitely didn't believe in myself at the time as much, because I was in a learning phase. But it was like an opportunity that was a gold mine, but given my situation at the time, I couldn't see it. And so I just kind of, left it at that. But I'm like, looking back, I'm like, yo, that went perfect. Why did I not double down, right? And it's because of, I think, the way I utilized the profit, and then my knowledge. But so I lived in Hawaii. For those of you that don't know, I got literally I have no evidence of that besides some highlights, because I was low key, but I was out there to go learn and network and stuff. But one of the things I did out there was get a car and put it on Turo. And
if you know about Hawaii and Turo, the market was super strong. I mean, they
was renting out U-Hauls because they rented out rental cars, and they were going like rental cars. Like a Mustang at one point was going for like hundreds of dollars, like $300, $400 a day, because of the supply and demand. So people was literally renting out box trucks to go drive around the island because there was no more vehicles.
Wow. And
I was like, why didn't I see that and go, let's ship some damn cars out from the mainland over here. Let's get them working. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do something. But I didn't think like that at the time. But I put out one car. It was a little beater. It was a Hyundai Accent. It was a 2009. It was white, and it had little dents and bumps and scratches on it. But I was like, this is a beach car, and people out here don't really, at the economy level, they just want A to B, right? So I'm like, does it work? Is it reliable? Blah, blah. It drove perfect. So I was like, okay, let me just put this on there and see what it does. The night I posted it, I woke up and I had a booking for 10 days, and I had a booking for 3 days. And I was like, it's already rented out 13 days.
Wait. You said the night?
The night that I posted it, click, I woke up, it was rented out half the month in advance. And I was like, with 2 guests. And I was like, oh, see, why didn't I go get hella cars at that point? I was like, and then like 2 days later, it was booked out the whole month. And I was like, I just rented out for $25 a day. Cause I'm like, I just need some reviews, right? So I'm cheap. Right. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's why. Is just the price. Like, I'm really undercutting, right? I moved it to $30 a day. Still, I didn't have a month where I was under 90% occupancy. Like 20 days, 25 days was normal out of the month. Just, 5 days at a time, 10 days at a time, weeks at a time. And it was a gold mine, man. And I was just thinking, well, there's my rent. I mean, I'm like, cool. Like, I was cash flowing $800, $900
above the car note.
It was no car note. I paid that shit cash.
Oh my god.
So it was a $2,000 one-time investment, right? In which I was already 900. So 2 months, I made my money back pretty much.
Okay.
And I did that for like 4 more months.
Right.
And I'm like, well, my rent was $750. So I was like, I was shaving off.
Living in Hawaii.
Yes.
And it feels like it's rent free.
Yes.
Imagine that.
It was ridiculous. But see, why didn't I, double down? Is because I put it right into an expense, right? And then I didn't know enough to go, double, triple down, and I didn't have the credit in as good of a situation. So, but no, yeah, it was actually a crazy good experience. I did a lot of things wrong, but they weren't like make or break wrong. It was just like little stuff like quality control and customer service, and like, what do I do if the situation happens? And I always just dealt with it when it happened. But I prepared, I try to be, safe for like anything major. But I honestly did not, because I was like, we're on an island. I don't need to put a tracker in the car, but that's stupid because they could just hide it, anywhere.
Right.
But I had good customers, luckily, but I would never do that again. As casual as I did it, I was just like, a few pictures, at the beginning. Let them, hey, here's the keys. Just being super nice and thinking that the customer service alone was gonna get me, good experience, and it did. But like I know now, there's horror stories and stuff like that, right? Of just people just doing whatever. But I was like, it's a $2,000 car. I'm like, what do I got to lose? Right. So I was just, But I learned a lot in those months that I was renting it out. So I'm glad. But and then before I left, because I was leaving Hawaii last May, I think. And I was just like, man, what if I left, but I still had it going? Like, I was like, how much does it cost to get a monthly car rental parking spot? It was like $150. I'm like, that's like 2 days of rentals. And then I was like, okay, what about maintenance? I'm like, well, there's people that come do mobile detailing. I could just call them in and go fix, clean my car. And I'm just mapping it all out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is actually doable. But I didn't have the credit and I didn't have the knowledge that it was possible, because there was people doing that, from the mainland, Mustangs and Jeeps and, all that stuff from not even being on the island. And it slipped right by me. I might go back and invest, into some cars out there. But, that was my experience with Turo.
And you said one time you went to another island and then it was sort of like virtual, like you made them take pictures.
That was my first, let me see if I could do this completely hands-free. Because I had always been on island, right? And I had just been like doing my thing. And if they call me, they call me. But I was like, let me see if I can set up a way to where I don't have to be even on the same island. Which essentially means I could have been in Cali, right? Because if I'm not there, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I was in Maui for like 10 days, and I was like, okay, well, how do I get them the keys? Okay, lockbox. Okay, how do I make sure that I'm safely, giving them the keys and checking them in? I was like, okay, they need to send me, identification. So I just had a template that I'd ask, and then they send me the ID, and then I give them the code to the lockbox, and then they open the lockbox, and then they, check out and drive off, and making sure they took certain photos and did certain things and stuff like that. And then eventually I was like, if I pull this off, bro, I know that it's possible to do a fully remote, Turo situation. And I did for all 10 days. I was booked out all 10 days with 3 different guests. And I was like, man, I hope there's no mess ups with the guests transferring. Right. And, I just had a couple buddies check in on the car to make sure that it was clean, like the customer said and stuff like that. And everything went smooth, bro. And I was like, oh my God. That was proof of concept, and I still didn't double, triple down like we talked about. But I was like, I just did that. I just did it with I didn't even see my car.
Right.
And I was like, man. But then I still was a dumbass, and I just didn't even do anything with it after that. I still kept it at one car a month, or one car, making me $900 a month. But yeah, I did do it fully remote, and that's definitely possible. So
that's dope. So yeah, man, when it comes to diving into things, investing into things,
I tell people that fear that you might have is just lack of knowledge. So if that's really that important to you, go pay or go, pay with your time to go learn and cover up those issues to where you feel like, okay, I'm actually confident in doing it. Because people that go, oh, just get started and you'll learn as you go. I say fuck that, because that's very, very, very dangerous depending on what field you get into. You need to answer those questions that you have inside. If you have fear of what if this goes wrong? I'm like, okay, just find that out today instead of letting that hang for the next week, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you'll know, am I procrastinating, or do I actually need questions answered that I can go get the answers for?
Exactly.
And then just go after that.
That's what I did with even with any industry, whether it's Airbnb or the car rentals, I literally have these spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And I'm literally calculating for worst case scenario.
Yeah. Right.
Yo, all right, cool. I need to rent this car out. So I see the average of X car, said car is renting out for 100 and something a day or whatever. And I'm like, all right, I need to rent this car out for 7 days out of the month to cover the car note. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, I need to make this damn car note 7 days out of the month. So I'm calculating for that. I'm calculating. All right, this car note costs this insurance. Okay, I need another budget for maintenance and unexpected things. Maybe a little budget for like little Facebook ads or whatever I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally calculating for worst case scenario and best case scenario. Sometimes I focus more on calculating for worst case scenario because I know like at least I'll break even. At least I have X amount of capital for like 4 months worth of car notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like calculating for like, oh, if things just like really are really like slow and don't go as planned, at least I have a plan to not go in the negative. You know what I mean? And sometimes even with going in the negative, it's like I'm I'm pretty much learning about the idea of like some businesses operate in the negative, like for either months or years, but then they make it out on top.
Because they got the game plan. And
Exactly. Like, right. And that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother topic. But I want to talk to some entrepreneurs about that. You know, like I said, I've been swiping like crazy. You know what I'm saying? But investing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really swipe for anything I can't really pay off. But it's just like, how do I get ahead? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a catch-22. You know what I'm saying? It goes down to that scary money don't make no money. But it's just like you gotta invest up front. But some, you know, they say most businesses don't last like 3 years or 5 years or whatever. That's why banks love like businesses that are 2 years old and over, because it's like, oh, you survive even 5 years and older.
Facts.
10 years? Oh, what, you survive 10 years?
Take my money. It's surprising, you know, honestly, to them.
So it's like a lot of businesses go out of business because of lack of capital and lack of a excellent business plan to multiply their money that they invested or whatever. But it's just like there's a concept that I'm studying right now about operating a business in the negative for X amount of time. You know what I mean? Even I'm not, you know, talk to my accountant and my tax guy about it. It's just like, well, businesses, you want to show a profit to the bank on your tax returns and blah, blah, blah. But I know there's a larger concept that's like above my comprehension that I'm starting to comprehend. Like, that's like sometimes businesses, like, I feel like, do you know if Uber is profitable?
What you mean? Oh, the company?
Yeah.
Oh, Uber, right now, I believe is not too profitable. I'm pretty sure.
So I don't have all the stats, but I feel like
I know they lose money on a lot.
$1 trillion dollar.
They're valuation based, so that brings up because their stock equity. You know, the equity just basically if they boost their revenue, they're boosting their valuation because it's the X multiplier, and then that boosts the stocks. So then they are boosting their profit because the stock's getting bigger, but. So it's that concept that I'm looking to explore in the upcoming like podcast, and like I want to get educated on that, like because if you're not scared to operate in the negative for like a certain amount of time, then I feel like there's a lot of potential for growth. Right.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you got the right team around you. You know what I'm saying? Like now, because I'm thinking about, I got to double down on my team. Like I can no longer afford to like, certain things I just don't have the time to do. I don't have time to sit around on my laptop waiting for things to render like I used to. My time is literally just more expensive. Like, and I feel it. Yeah. I feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I got to double down on my hiring aspect of it. Hiring and firing fast, firing quickly. And making sure, and you know, and that requires an investment on my part up front, and making sure, like, if I say I'm gonna pay this guy's, like, you know what I'm saying, because it's like you're taking care of another human being. That's the ironic thing about being a boss, and you know, writing the checks that people live off of consistently. Yeah. Every Friday is payday. Yeah. And I gotta like log in and approve the checks. That's a whole like. Bruh, that's a whole nother thing, and it's just like that's a commitment. You know what I mean? With great power comes great responsibility. You know what I'm saying? With great, you know what I'm saying, like type of thing. So that's a whole nother topic for another day. I just wanted to knock this out while we still got this spot. We about to head to another location. We about to We about to go pull up on some more people. We have man. Like I said, I don't like to make announcements. I just kind of like to show y'all what I do. I like to show results, receipts. Check out my Instagram. You can pull up, you can switch. Follow us on the gram. Follow us on the gram. Go through the highlights. If you want to see the results, follow the people that I follow. Follow,
What's good? What's good? Hey,
and then
hey,
he
refresh.
just did the refresh. Let's refresh.
Hit
See
that
what
refresh.
happens,
We'll
right?
see if they change.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's live.
Not that page no more.
It's live.
Mr. Credit Gems.
You know what I'm saying? Mr. Credit Gems. So, and then if you got to hit up DeleteKing850.com, then hit up DeleteKing850.com. Tap into me. Hit this DM. You know what I'm saying? Let's get in the DMs. Oh, you can switch. Get back in the DMs and follow, like, and subscribe to this channel. Follow, like, and subscribe to this channel. If you like content like this, leave a comment. Comment down below what you want to see on this channel, what you want us to talk about, discuss, who you want me to run into, who you want me to interview, get some data points, you know what I mean? All of that good stuff. I appreciate if you made it this far in the video. And yeah, fix your credit first. Peace.